Welcome to start with a story. I'll tell you a story about a girl named Ellie. Lives in California, no different than any one of you, myself, and Ellie. Like us, young professional, looking to get our first job, going through the daily grind, applying for jobs, networking on LinkedIn, doing what you can to try and get ahead. Find time for the gym, the usual, right? Finds a networking event happening around the corner. She says, you know what, I'll sign up for it. Meanwhile, she's sending out resumes day in and day out to a company called Uber. For those of you who don't know what Uber is a phone application that allows anyone to book a high-end taxi on demand, and she thought she'd be great for the company. She could change things up. So she goes to the company, goes to the networking event, not knowing who's going to be there, but sure enough, the CEO of the company happens to be there. Wow, right? It's fate. So the night kicks off, everyone, welcome, start networking. Walks around the room and says, hi, my name is Ellie. Nice to meet you. Hi, my name is Ellie. I went to this school. Hi, my name is Ellie. I like long walks on the beach. The whole night is almost over, and she realizes she never talked to one person who really mattered. So sure enough, she gets herself together and walks over to the CEO of Uber and says, hi, my name is Ellie. I'm a passionate young professional. I think you have a great company. I could do this, this, and this to make it better. And if I did that, your company would be fantastic. Kind of taken aback, he looks at her and says, hi, my name is Mike. It's nice to meet you. Show up to my office on Monday. Show up to the office on Monday. Mike greets her and says, here are two of my developers I flew in from New York. Tell them exactly what you told me. 6 months later, she was hired. Redesigned the entire application. And just this past year at the Fast Company Innovation Awards, Uber won the best application out there. Completely turned it around. But the key here is she got hired because she did something. She was bold, she took a stance, and she went out there and put herself in front of the people that matter. And that's what we're doing here tonight. We're here to create opportunity for ourselves with a pathway to becoming professionals. It would be so easy to be up at the Pitt Peterson Event Center watching Pitt spank Lehigh tonight, or up in Club Hellman studying for midterms and finals. But we're here tonight to do something to better ourselves amongst each other. So as mentioned before, my name is Joshua Siva. I'm a graduate at the University of Pittsburgh, class of 2011, College of Business Administration. I currently live north up in Canada in Toronto, and I work for a global pharmaceutical company called GlaxoSmithKline. I'm joined here by my friend, fellow entrepreneur, former varsity volleyball player for the University of Pittsburgh, Melanie Feldman, who works in New York City at Undertone Media. And it wasn't too long ago that we were standing exactly where you are right now, where we were going through the grind of finals, working through school, wondering what is going to be next for us? What is that next step? And sending a resume day in and day out, speaking with company after company, we didn't have much success until we decided to turn things around. And it wasn't until we started working through people and really putting ourselves out there, we had the aha moment, and things started to turn around for us. I'm telling you this because in speaking with one another, we had a similar experience, that by changing things up, we could, in fact, control our destiny and getting the jobs we wanted. So over the past 2 years, we made it our mission to go around the world speaking with anyone and everyone who had a very cool and interesting story, someone who had a job they wanted, did something different, something creative, something unique, to get in front of that company and ultimately get hired. And that's really the culmination of our book, Bold, Get Noticed, Get Hired.
So for us, it all started with one question. Why is it so difficult to land that first job after college? And I think this is something a lot of recent college grads can relate to. Personally speaking, it was a challenge to first of all figure out, what is it that I want to do after college? Once I figured that out, how do I get my foot in the door? How do I find someone to give me that first shot? And it'd be easy to blame the financial crash of 2008. We felt the pinch then, we're still feeling the pinch now. Companies are unfortunately downsizing, which has led to an increase in competition. You're competing against your own class, the class before you, and you're competing against people that have 1, 2, 3 years of work experience. They get laid off, and they have to go back into an entry-level role. And then there's standardization of hiring. Big companies, the companies everyone wants to work for, they get thousands of resumes a day, and they can't physically look at every single resume. So a lot of them just get lost in the black hole of resumes. So what can you do? Can you go back in time and stop the financial crash from happening? can, change the way HR vets through resumes? Good luck. But really, what can you do? And I think the first thing to realize is life is tough. Like, there's a ton of challenges that come through. Everyone's going to find hurdles. And don't expect anything less. And I think once you figure that out, Josh and I have been researching, talking, interviewing, and writing our book for the past year and a half. And we realized it all kind of boils down to one thing. You need to find a way to stand out. You need to find a way to get your resume on top of the pack and make that personal connection with someone that matters at the company you want to work for.
So to get there are 4 key things that are important to achieving success in the job search process. The first is brand new, and that's everything that's visible to the external market about who you are and what you do and what you bring to the table. The second is your plan of attack. How are you going to approach the job search process? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Who are you going to do it with? The third is creativity, and that really boils down to something you're passionate about, something that you bring to the table, you want to let the world know. That will help you stand out. And lastly, the human connection, and that's working through people to get your message out there. But starting with brand new, as I mentioned, it's everything that's visible to the external world about who you are. So for instance, your LinkedIn profile, you create it online, you put your University of Pittsburgh, you put study abroad in Rome, you might put the companies you intern for or work for, the languages you may speak, anything, but you control that. The second is Google search. So when someone types in your name, John Smith, what comes up? Is it a picture of you and your friends from last weekend, or is it an article about a project you did in a newspaper? And lastly, for instance, the resume. Something we spend hours and hours and hours upon, meticulously crafting and wordsmithing every sentence, how it looks, does it quite fit the page right? Is it 1 page versus 2? Only to send it over to a company and give it 15 or 30 seconds for them to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But one guy who took control of the situation, which we interviewed for our book, was a guy named Robbie Williams, graduate of the 2009 class from Buffalo University. And Robbie found the job he wanted. He found the company he wanted to work for. So what does he do? Gets his resume looking beautiful, sends it on over. And a week passes, hears nothing. 2 weeks pass, still hears nothing. Now in week 3, wouldn't you know, he still heard nothing. So he thought, I'm perfect for this job. Like, it's speaking to me. I know I can kill this job if I'm just given the chance. So who knows what the perfect candidate looks like better than the job description itself. So he went to the job description, he took the keywords and the key phrases that appeared throughout and populated those into his LinkedIn profile. Next day he gets a call from a recruiter from the exact same company and says, hey, Robbie, do you want to interview for this job? And kind of taken aback, not wondering what's going on. He said, sure. So he interviews for it. He loved it. He thinks he's perfect. And they hire him. But what's funny is the recruiter had no idea he'd ever sent his resume through in the first place.
So the next step is plan of attack. You need to find a way to organize yourself, whether it's physical manila folders where you're writing things down, or you have an Excel spreadsheet online. Finding a way to track who you're reaching out to, companies you're applying for, the positions you're applying for. Because the last thing you want is to apply for a million different companies, you finally get that call back, and you have no idea who the person is, what the company is, what you apply for. The second part of it is selecting the channels to connect. So finding the right avenue to get in touch with that person at the company you want to work for. Whether it's utilizing LinkedIn groups online, using your alumni base, or going on Google and finding a cold contact. And just putting that, giving an example that, I found my job through a cold message on LinkedIn. Josh found his job through the Pittsburgh Alumni Network. Our other co-author, Liz, found her job through Twitter. And then there's finding the right balance. When I first graduated from Pitt and I started applying for jobs, I was like, all right, I'm going to apply for as many jobs as I possibly can at one time. And for a full month, I heard nothing back. So it's like, all right, what's going on? And I started slowing it down and taking maybe one job a week and doing all the research and reaching out and finding people. And the results were tremendous. It was completely different. I was finally getting interviews from the companies I wanted to work for. So next is creativity. Our book has a ton of different examples of really cool ways that people have reached out, gotten their resume in front of someone, and things like a talking QR code resume, putting Christmas lights inside your house to attract people to your LinkedIn, or this crazy Lego structure that someone sent with the resume. And we're not asking you guys to do those kinds of things. The common theme that we found in our book was people found what they were passionate about, what they were good at, and they used that, and they were creative with it, and they used that to get in front of someone. And, you know, it could be anything. And lastly, it's approaching people. So the whole theme of our book is don't send 1,000 resumes out. Instead, find that personal connection. And for most of us here, it's not going to be mommy and daddy's friend that owes them a favor, it's going to get them into their job. Instead, it's going to be, you know, that cold message to someone on LinkedIn. You know, someone through your alumni network. Finding someone's email online and sending them that email. And you need to know two things about these people you're reaching out to. One, they're really busy. And two, they don't owe you anything. So if you send them an email and you're like, blah, 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 you know, will you please pass my resume through? Delete. I would never send someone's resume through, I don't know. Instead, you know, if I got a message like I have on LinkedIn before, and it's like, hey Melanie, you know, just came across your LinkedIn profile, really impressed by what you're doing. Your company sounds really cool. I'd love to hear what you do on a day-to-day. You know, would you mind jumping on the phone with me for 5 minutes? Sure. Like, I don't care how busy I am. I'll jump on the phone with you. Fact of the matter is, everyone loves talking about themselves. Remember that. Once you get on the phone with these people, let them talk. Just listen. And almost every single time, at the end of the phone call, they'll say, hey, so what can I do for you?
So in that spirit, something we learned when we were students here at the university, one of our business professors broke it down for us and said a company and a corporation is nothing more than a group of people who are organized to work together towards a common goal. And that's so important then as it is right now, because as we're reaching out to people, as we're networking, it means no one is off limits. Even though this is giant umbrella of what we call a corporation, this big, scary framework, the people on the inside are just like everyone else here. They have personal interests, things they like, things they don't, a favorite sports team, or even a university that they're passionate about, like all of us right here tonight. The scarier part about not approaching people is a resume black hole. And that's really where you lose control of the job search process, where you spend all this time selling yourself on paper, writing the perfect story through your resume, through your cover letter, even through a pitch deck. You send it on over to a corporate website or to a corporate inbox, and from then on out, you have no idea if they pass it on to their friends, were they laughing at it, were they super impressed? Who knows? In some cases, they might contact you back. In some cases, they won't, but it doesn't matter. You've lost control. So by working through people, you can really see that process through to the end. So congratulations. We're all here tonight to network at this incredible event. The most important thing about this event is that, well, you may not know this guy over here, and you may not know the girl over here. We all technically know each other because we all have the same great thing in common. We're all students and alumni of this fine university. So as we move forward on the pathway to becoming professionals, we will always have each other as our friends, our support network. You could be my next client, you could be the next sale, you could be my next manager for all I know. It doesn't matter where life takes us on that journey, but through it all we have each other. So we urge you tonight to make the most of this opportunity, meet as many people as you can, and keep in touch with even more. So once again, hail the pit. Thank you very much, and we hope you enjoy this incredible evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mellon.